It may almost be Christmas time, but no truce in the war of words between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. Hillary defending the claim she made at the Democratic debate that ISIS is using videos of Trump to recruit terrorists. That claim widely panned by independent fact-checkers and by Trump himself. Listen to Hillary explaining what she really meant.
You know, people around the world pay very close attention to our elections. And if you go on Arabic television, as we have, and you look at what is being blasted out with video of Mr. Trump being translated into Arabic, no Muslims coming to the United States, other kinds of derogatory, defamatory statements, it is playing into the hands of the violent jihadists.
Okay, so doubling down, Tom Shillue, on her claim that Trump is in these jihadist videos. She's not been able to produce a video, much like Benghazi, but yet she doesn't care. She's just going to use that similar attack line. Smart?
No, it's not smart. And the thing is that it not only, you know, he's probably going to appear in a video soon. Someone's going to make a video and say, oh, look, Donald Trump is in a recruitment video. But the argument about recruitment, I don't think it holds water anyway, because what you're saying is that the jihadists base their recruiting on U.S. policy, and they don't. They hate the entire West. Nothing that a U.S. policymaker does can cause more recruitment. And the Democrats have been using that argument for the past few years, and I think it's a false argument.
Yeah, so take then the counter of that, right? So the counter of that, Harris, is then if we were nicer, if we didn't criticize ISIS, if we did not go after radical Islam, then they would temper it down, stop killing us. I mean, really, when you think about it, it's illogical.
Right. Well, if we have that kind of control, why wouldn't we be using it?
Yeah.
I mean, if we thought that we could influence them that way, my goodness, we ought to be making a ton of videos. We all should be in them. Everybody should want to star in the anti-ISIS video. You know, I mean, if we have the kind of power to motivate them in one way, wouldn't it make sense that we have the power to motivate them in another way? But what about anything that Donald Trump or anybody else would do could compare with the video of burning a man alive inside of a cage on video?
No kidding.
What in the world would we be doing in this country?
But
regardless of politics, what would we be doing that could compare with that?
This is the same woman who blames Benghazi on a spontaneous YouTube video that never existed, lest us forget. But I think what's important right now is facts are important. And if you're going to hold Donald Trump's feet to the fire about allegedly seeing people celebrating on 9/11, those videos haven't come to play any place, we have to hold her feet to the same fire. It's a flat-out lie, and I believe in this election cycle more than ever, facts are very important and very stubborn.
You've covered the Clintons for decades, Emac. And so you've seen when they lie, their lies are grandiose. I mean, they are serial liars, and they've gotten away with it. So that's why she's doubling down now, because she just figures the media will cover her. She can play a victim about offensive rhetoric, and then she can just keep hammering home a lie.
It becomes an architecture of lies, because now she turned it away from an ISIS video to now Arabic television, right? So, you know, it's sort of like, you know, following the meandering pathways in their mind of how they get away from the initial lie without fessing up and saying, you know what, I was wrong. There is no ISIS video. We don't have it, just as Meghan said. Pony it up, just as Donald Trump was, you know, really blasted for saying, produce a video of Muslims celebrating after 9/11. And by the way, you know, Hillary Clinton is doing the same thing Trump was being accused of by the president, fear-mongering. So, you know, she's fear-mongering too, saying that when we behave like this in the United States, as Tom pointed out, it creates jihadi recruits.
And by the way, you look at, Meghan, you look at who is in these ISIS videos, right? Her husband, President Obama, Joe Biden. Take Obama, for example. He goes out of his way, bends over backwards not to offend the enemy. In fact, he won't even name them, and he's in a video. So to Tom's point, it doesn't really matter. I mean, they hate us, especially women, right? Because we're empowered and we're speaking our minds. I mean, this show is an ISIS recruitment tool, for God's sake.
And I agree. I think the implication that somehow Donald Trump is exacerbating it in some way is disingenuous. But I think she will do and say anything that it takes. She will lie. She will say anything, and it doesn't really matter, because to the Clintons, as we have seen for many, many decades, the facts just don't matter.
But this is also the former Secretary of State making this claim about an ISIS video. What a bombshell. What news that would be in the middle of a debate, she said this. For that to have existed. It doesn't exist.
But she blamed Benghazi on a YouTube video as well. I mean, this doesn't surprise me at all. She just manifests things out of thin air.
Harris, she allocated from her State Department millions and millions of taxpayer dollars to take out ads in Pakistan to apologize for that whole video. I mean, she did an infomercial apology tour in the Middle East. There is no lie this woman won't tell. I mean, looking the families of the Benghazi victims in the eye and lying about how they died, she's soulless.
Exactly.
So I think what you said is spot on, though, about this election cycle. And as journalists, we are going to have to be spot on about our jobs. And I love the way you put it. I wrote it down. Be careful that it doesn't become an architect or an architecture,
yeah, it's like
an architecture of lies. And that applies all around. We're going to really have to be on top of things because they're going to take shots at each other, and Hillary Clinton is proving with this double down on this video that the facts may not matter as much to the people who are actually speaking the word.
That's right. They're ethically obtuse. I think that's the way you have to see it.
You know what creates recruitment, or what creates more terrorists, is success on their part and a lack of action on the part of the West. If you make a red line and then you ignore that red line, that's what causes recruitment. You know, bin Laden said that. He said, we're going to attack them, and they're not going to be able to hit us back. Watch. And then then we did hit back on bin Laden. So the thing was that they've always said that the West is ineffectual, that they can't hit us back. And that's what causes recruitment, when we don't hit back.
You know what they like the most, too? You know what else they like? When we are weak and we're fighting within within this country. They like when we're at each other's throats and we're not focused on them.
This conversation that Hillary Clinton has sparked, and kind of going back and forth, and what we think is effective in their world, that's what they love, because I think you're right, and based on the reporting that we've done, Tom, it would be true. They are not watching American politics to then go back to wherever they're nesting like scorpions to try to kill us and come up with a plan. How do we know that? Because it looks like for years and years and years they'll work on one thing and then execute. We've got these people living among us. They'll be here for years and years and years, the San Bernardino killers, and then all of a sudden. So it's not the cycle of politics that's driving them anyway. So why would she think that? Why would she say
as they exterminate Christians, right?
Well, anybody they can get their hands on they don't like.